financial problems, elder law, criminal law, tax problems, business matters, divorce, personal injury, bankruptcy, your life, your reality. Life is complicated. There is the law and there is reality. Welcome to Law and Reality, sponsored by THAV GROSS. Now here's your host, Ken Gross.
Welcome to this segment of Law and Reality. Today's topic is the smartest way to resolve a tax problem or tax problems. Jeffrey Linden, our tax guru at THAV GROSS, how are you?
I'm great, Ken. Good morning.
Brian Small,
Always a pleasure, as always.
everything good by you?
Everything is fantastic this morning.
Scott Weinberg,
I pay my taxes.
have you gotten...
I just want that to be out.
Is there any criminal issues out there that we need to be concerned about in society today?
Well, if you don't pay your taxes, you got a lot of problems. I'll represent you on that too.
Well,
Besides
if
that.
push comes to shove, but
Sure.
our goal is to avoid that kind of a problem.
I guess
Pat
the
Simasco?
bigger question, do you report the income?
What income?
There you
What do
go.
think?
Yeah, thanks, Ken.
Okay, there we go. All right, I'm going to give you an example. Jeff and I are going to work through the example. I've got the example. Jeff will lead us through the discussion and everyone else. But this is a situation that I would call a normal situation that goes totally out of control. And what's shocking is stuff happens. This is based upon a real case. And it's not uncommon to see a simple problem become an enormous problem by people just doing the completely wrong thing when it comes to addressing taxes. So, fictitious couple, Rick and Dana. I gotta give you the facts. Rick is a landscaper. He owns Rick's Landscaping and Snow Removal. It's a good-sized business. It has your good-sized problems. He's in the landscaping business. He's got a bunch of non-documented workers working for him. All of his workers want cash. They don't want W-2s. They don't want 1099s. He tends to not be that strong of a personality in terms of what should and shouldn't be done, so he capitulates and he's paying them cash. He's a good worker. He's not a detail guy, doesn't keep his books and records. He gets checks from clients. He doesn't really put them into the bank. He goes and he cashes the checks. Then he pays his workers the cash. He pays his bills that way, personal bills, business bills, sometimes with a credit card, sometimes cash, sometimes check, but there's no good check register. It's a mess. But this is not a small business he's running. If he did his accounting, he's probably he's not making a lot. He's not knocking down the world. He's probably making 60 grand a year, working really hard. But he really has no clue because he's got no records.
Is he reporting the 60 grand a year?
I'll tell you in a second. Dana, his wife, is like the complete opposite. She's an I dotter, a T crosser. She's an account executive, works for a recruiting company, makes $90,000 a year, W-2, very meticulous about bills, pays all the family bills, contributes every year to her 401k. She's got $225,000 in there. How do these two get along? You got one guy who's like can't dot an I or cross a T. He doesn't even like.
But he's
looking
really
up
good
about-
looking, I bet.
He's the best. And Dana on the other side, very particular. Well, they make it work. They have completely separate finances. She keeps her money. She pays the household bills. She has nothing to do with his business. He's got his business. She doesn't ask him any questions. Nothing. So here's the situation. Rick's always taken the lead on taking care of the filing the taxes because Dana's is very simple. She's got a W-2. She's got withholding. So Dana gives the W-2 to Rick. Rick then goes and meets with a tax person, has the tax returns done, gives them to Dana. She signs them. He signs them. They file marrying filing joint. She doesn't even pay attention. She always gives him the W-2. He takes care of it. Well, he doesn't file for 15 and 16 on time. His books are a mess. He's in kind of paralysis because he hasn't dealt with it. In 2018, in June, he finally kind of panics and says, I got to take care of this. So he goes and he files the returns. He shows virtually no income at all for his business on a Schedule C, and he's got Dana's income on her W-2. The returns as filed for 2015, tax due $500. They write a check and they pay it. Dana signs the return. 2016, write a check for $850. Jeff thinks everything's fine. Dana has no clue. She assumes everything as well.
Rick. Jeff's sitting here as the attorney.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jeff, because I want to get Jeff involved.
Things
in
are
the whole
not
thing.
fine.
Okay.
Trust me.
Letter comes in the mail. Your return has been selected for examination. Is that how it works?
Yeah, and that's usually when people panic. They don't know what to do and they have a heart attack. Oh my God, I'm being audited.
I'm scared to hear saying it right now.
How do they choose to do it? What triggered it?
Well, it can be many
Was
things.
it the late return?
There's late returns can do it. Sometimes it's a random call. There's a certain number of returns that are audited at random. Something jumps out. Usually most returns are processed electronically, and occasionally some are hand selected for review. Something on this return where he's got a track and now he's making almost no income probably triggered some flag that said, wait a minute, something changed. And so
he's
they took a
showing
closer
no
look at
income
it.
in the
Right.
business. He could have gotten 1099s from people that paid him, and he's showing gross revenues
Right.
that don't even come near his gross revenue.
That's a
So-
big problem for people too, because people forget when they don't report their income, if they're getting W-2s or 1099s, the other copy of those documents goes to the IRS. They know you got paid that money, whether you report it or not.
And they match that up computer-wise.
Yeah.
It doesn't require an auditor at IRS to say, let's pull Scott's records this year and see if his 1099s match his gross income. That's all done by the computer. And if you're not picking up your income, it's gonna get red flagged. They'll identify it.
I mean, there's a bottom line issue here. If you don't pick up your income because you think nobody's going to report it, remember this: pigs eat, hogs get slaughtered. It's okay to be a piggy, but in this case, Rick was a hog.
Well, in Rick's case, Rick wasn't intending on being a hog or a pig or whatever. Rick was just messed up from the standpoint of no records and no way of handling it the proper way. We get back from the break, we'll see how it goes.
If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV GROSS specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
You're all set to retire. You have your home paid off, money in the bank, and sound investments. But if you're not careful, all the things that you work so hard for can disappear. At Samasco Financial, we'll help you prevent that. We go beyond ordinary asset management. We'll safeguard everything that you have by creating a plan made specifically for you. How much can you afford to lose? Nothing. Protect the people that you love and the things that you have. Call Samasco Financial today.
You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirschner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP. Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV GROSS.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV GROSS today, 888-235-HELP. Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
All right, so we're back. We're dealing with the audit of Rick and Dana, which is really Rick's business because Dana reported all of her income. She had her W-2. She had withholding, everything. Dana wasn't the cause of the problem here. But let me tell you what the auditor comes up with. The auditor goes and does their job, asks for records and receipts, and here's the outcome. And you get this IRS Form 4549, which is income tax examination changes, which the auditor then compiles and asks you to sign. Well, for 2015 and 2016, the tax deficiency was $85,000 and $70,000, all relating to Rick's business. Why? She picked up all of his gross income. She didn't allow any of his payroll expense because he had no payroll because he paid everybody in cash, non-documented workers, no 1099s. So she's saying, you don't have any payroll expense. So he didn't really have all this income because he had the payroll, but he was giving them cash, and he can't then rely on the deduction. So you got $85,000 and $75,000 for tax. He filed late. What's the penalty on filing late?
25%.
That's huge. Look
That's
at
Right off the
another
bat.
$21,000 in 15, $17,000 in 16. Accuracy penalty for he had no accuracy.
Another 20%.
20%. You can go up to what for on penalties?
You can get up to
50,
up to 50, 70%. Right now,
fraud.
late filing and inaccurate return, he's got a penalty of 45%.
that. So is he
Off the
actually...
bat, day
so
one.
What is an accuracy penalty anyway?
When you make a mistake or you have an error, the danger with
That's
accuracy
crazy.
errors is the IRS will look at negligence as an accuracy error or incompetence as an accuracy error. And what the danger is if they feel that you weren't negligent, but you were intentionally trying to evade tax, then you're in real trouble.
Then you go up to
Then we get-
50% up to 70% on fraud penalties. You almost always get hit with the accuracy penalty if you have a large deficiency. They say you didn't keep good records. Well, you can't really defend Rick on keeping good records because he had no records. So it's a hard one for him.
Hey, can I throw something
Yeah.
out there? Remember when we did that Social Security show
Sure.
before? What all these people are forgetting, they're not paying into Social Security either. So when they're 62, they got zero earning history. So their Social he better never get rid of his wife because he's going to be taken off of her
Massive
earning.
problem.
Oh, and all those workers?
All the workers, all the people out there that say that they're under the radar. They're all working for cash.
All the self-employed guys.
They report $20,000 a year of income, if any income at all. They're going to get to 66, and whether they wait from 66 to 70, it's going to be whether their benefit is $200 or $300 if they wait. What are they going to do to live? It's a massive problem. And people in their 30s and 40s, they don't even think about it. You need to pay into that system.
Yeah.
I mean, because you're not saving money elsewhere. So here's their numbers. Tax due, penalty. There's also interest on the taxes, and there's a late filing. There's late payment at 0.5% per month. Their total penalties and tax: $153,000 for 2015, $118,000 for 2016.
Did Dana have a heart attack?
Everybody would
Dana's
have a
not
heart
happy.
attack. Here's what I said: a simple problem spinning out of control. His real income is probably $60,000 a year. Taking Dana's income, it would have been a $20,000 tax bill for each of the 2 years that he could have paid as he went along, and he wouldn't have this problem.
Most of which had already been paid through his wife's withholding.
Yeah. But $40,000.
Yeah, she's been paying it. Yeah.
40,000 as opposed to
$270,000.
That is insane.
And the biggest crime here is who's liable for the tax right now?
Both.
Both. Dana's going to be liable because of the joint return.
Joint
If
return.
you're Dana, you want to kill him.
How can you get it so Dana's not liable?
Well, that's a good question.
Well, the best thing they did was keep their finances separately. So in that circumstance, you can apply for an innocent spouse relief, where they'll apportion the liability for an innocent spouse and say, we're not holding the innocent spouse liable for the tax debt. That allows us to do additional planning, and that's where we can bring in other financial tools for the debtor tax spouse, the one that owes the liability. Possibly we can get into a collection alternative. Possibly they're not collectible. Possibly their tax debt will qualify for bankruptcy protection.
Yeah, but here's, so we're going to develop the whole strategy. But first of all, a lot of people don't even realize it. But Dana, in her situation, does have what we call an innocent spouse claim, that she has to have someone represent her to succeed. And the essence of an innocent spouse claim is to say, even though I filed filing joint, I had nothing to do with the unreported income. I didn't benefit from the unreported income. It wasn't my fault, and I didn't have knowledge of it. Therefore, from an equity standpoint, you should not hold, Mr. Uncle Sam, you should not hold me accountable. Fortunately, with all the bad, nasty things we say about the Internal Revenue Service and all those commercials, they're going to do this to you, they're going to do that to you, the government recognizes the innocent spouse claim and does approve them when you meet the criteria. And by keeping, like Jeff said, keeping the finances separate, the fact that she had nothing to do with his business puts her in a good position to get there. We have to figure out, but that's not the end of the problem. Because Jeff still has a $270,000 tax
Rick
problem.
still has a
I keep calling him Jeff.
Because I'm sitting in front of you.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, I called Betty and Dana, or what did I've been called? I got Dana right.
Okay.
So here's, so we have to figure out
What do you want,
how
cookie?
are we going to deal with Rick's $270,000 problem, and is it going to be easy to get Dana innocent spouse? Because you have to. When do you ask the auditor? Oh, dear auditor, who's going through these records, will you just let Dana? Don't assess the tax against Dana. She was an innocent spouse. We'll be back after the break.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV Gross.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV Gross today, 888-235-HELP.
Criminal matters are serious. Your freedom, future, and wallet are on the line. Criminal defense attorney Scott Weinberg is a former prosecutor and renowned criminal lawyer. For over 30 years, he's the go-to defender in Michigan to protect your rights. Scott's advice: you have the right to remain silent. Use it. If charged with a crime, call Scott Weinberg today, 888-235-HELP, 888-235-HELP. And remember, stay silent.
Time for announcements. Want to remind our viewers to listen to us for Law and Reality Live on the Praise Network, Tuesdays 10 a.m. and Saturdays 7 a.m., and on KISS 105.9, Sundays 7 o'clock a.m. Be sure and sign up for our monthly contest. Free $100 Visa gift card, Law and Reality golf hat, and a copy of my book, Dump Your Debt. Just go to the website, lawandreality.com, pop in your email address, and you're entered into the contest. We've got seminars coming up on Wednesday, October 16th, 6 to 7:30 p.m. It's not about ghosts and goblins. It's about having an estate plan. Obviously, this is in reference to Halloween. But your whole point is, an estate plan is an important thing for every family to have. We're going to go through the basic estate plan components, how you go about avoiding probate, and also how you handle probate if you find yourself in that situation anyway. We'll talk about the 3 biggest mistakes people make in estate planning. Attendees get a free $300 gold certificate off the cost of any estate plan. Sign up at thavgross.com, lawandreality.com, or call 888-235-HELP. On Wednesday, November 6th, 6 to 7:30 p.m., we have a seminar, Learn the Switch from Debt to Savings. This is a debt elimination seminar. We're going to go through all the processes we use to eliminate debt so you can start saving money for your future and for retirement. The goal is, by eliminating the debt, you then are able to take that excess cash that you were paying to your creditors and start saving some of it so that you don't get into debt in the future and so that you start accumulating savings for retirement. We'll have a couple special segments. Jeff Linden's going to talk about how to resolve tax issues. Scott Weinberg will do a segment on how to handle a traffic ticket. Attendees get a free copy of my book, Dump Your Debt. Sign up at thavgross.com, lawandreality.com, or call 888-235-HELP. Remember, you can always come into the firm for a free consultation. Debt issues with Brian, tax issues with Jeff, estate planning issues with Brian, business law issues with myself, elder law issues with Pat, disability issues with Jeff Kirshner, criminal issues with Scott Weinberg. Just go to the website. There's always a link there that you can click to request a free consult, or just call anytime, 888-235-HELP. Also, take a look at our website. There's 4 great reports there that are free. All you have to do is click the button and they'll be emailed directly to you. The newest one is Resolving Tax Problems, The Real Solutions, written by yours truly. Also, How to Save Your Home from Foreclosure, Business Formations, Loans and Grants for Small Businesses in Detroit and Michigan, and The Retiree's Guide to Social Security from Pat Samasco. I want to thank our sponsors, THAV Gross, Samasco Law, Michigan Criminal Lawyers PLC, and Jeff Kirshner Law. Now back to the show.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV Gross.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV Gross. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
I love you too. Bye-bye. That was Jerry. Emma just said her first word.
Oh.
Jerry says hello and they'll be over soon.
Who's Jerry? Is he a friend of yours?
No. This Jerry. Our Jerry. And this is his wife and their little girl.
All right, we're back to Rick and Dana's problem. You
Isn't
at
it-
at the break, you
With
just
Rick
asked a
and Dana,
question.
I mean, if I was Dana, I'd say, man, I'm filing a separate return.
Because she didn't know to do that. Here's the rules. You can go from married filing separate to amend and file married filing joint if you want. When you file, when a married couple files separate, they pay higher tax by filing married filing separate. But
You can't go the
it's
other way
separate.
around.
You can't go the other
back.
way. Right. If you file married filing joint and then you realize, we got a problem here, you can't amend and go separate. Your only remedy is innocent spouse in that circumstance. Now, if Dana was involved in the business, if Dana owned 50% of the landscaping business, if it was an LLC or a sub-S corp or something like that, she would take her ability to get innocent spouse would go from 80% to about 5%. So a lot of times people come in and I form businesses all the time as a business lawyer for people. Husband and wife come in and almost always they're excited about the business. It's a family
business.
thing. They want to be 50% owners. Husband may be president, wife vice president, secretary and treasurer, 50-50 all the way. And then I look at it as a planner and a business attorney, knowing that most businesses fail eventually and have problems. And I say to them, it would be better. It's from a marriage standpoint, it's 50-50 anyway. But from a legal standpoint and tax standpoint, my suggestion to you is let one person own it and only have one person be the check signer. and only one person be an officer, and make that person the one that has the least number of assets that you currently have together. And they kind of look at you and they go like, oh, I don't really want, that's not what I wanted to do. But why is it important? Think about Rick and Dana. Dana has nothing to do with the business, she can get to innocent spouse. All right, now let's shift gears. Jeff, Brian, what are we going to do about Rick? He's still got to run the business. He's got a $270,000 tax liability. It's income taxes. Just a little fact I didn't tell you. The house that they have is owned entirely in Dana's name. She makes all the payments. She's paying on it. So Rick doesn't own anything. Dana has the 401k. Rick doesn't. Can Rick file bankruptcy?
Not today, but he can eventually. There's a simple rule that we have to look at is, 1, did the taxes come due at least 3 years ago? 2, have they been filed for at least 2 years? And 3, when was he assessed? If he hasn't been assessed in the last 8 months, then the taxes are dischargeable. In Rick's case, not only will the taxes become dischargeable, but in spite of all of Dana's income, everything else, because the majority of Rick's debt is non-consumer debt, he'll be able to file a bankruptcy when the time comes, eliminate the debt, and walk away from it.
So our plan with Rick is file bankruptcy, but we have to wait till we get to meet that 3-year,
Jeff's got to
2-year
get
rule.
in there.
How are you going to get him there? We got 2 years to go, buddy. What are we going to do?
We're going to get him into what are called
The
collection
lights are
alternatives.
flashing because this is such an important issue.
There are collection alternatives. When the IRS comes knocking, we will explore whether or not we can get him into a payment plan, a low payment plan extending out, which he'll chip away at over a period of time until he gets to the dischargeability date where he can file bankruptcy.
Yeah. So, I mean, let me paraphrase
That's only one
it.
option.
So his primary option, because he's still running the business, we're going to seek a payment plan for him. It's not one of those automatic, because you owe $50,000 or less and you get an automatic plan.
No.
It has to be based upon ability to pay, but it's his ability to pay. He's got to clean up his records. He's got to be able to go in there and show that he has books and records, right, and that he's putting the money in the bank and what his income is, and then we'll be able to get
If he dies, does that debt die with him?
It dies with him in his estate. It would,
if there is no estate.
But if Dana gets innocent spouse, she's protected. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It dies with him, but if he has assets, they're
that goes through the estate.
Yeah, but he doesn't have any. His assets are, he's got snow plows and things like that, but he's got leased vehicles and everything else. He really doesn't have any net worth. Bottom line is, it's a solvable problem at the end. Bankruptcy for Rick, innocent spouse for Dana, but the real point is, if Rick just ran the business properly, the problem would have never occurred. Have a great week. We'll be back next week with Law and Reality.